What is Cam Ward's best fit in the NFL?
The Cleveland Browns is Cam Ward's best fit. They have a receiver. They have a higher pick option. And they have a tight end. Yes.
You open with, they have a receiver?
They do. They have Jerry Jeudy, a receiver, who is someone I can describe as...
The bar has never been lower for Sean Anderson in team building, apparently.
I can describe Jerry Jeudy as such, and they have a good tight end in David Njoku.
The San Antonio Brahmas have a receiver. Should he go there?
They also have one. I bet he'd thrive with the Brahmas. I'd prefer to see him with the Battlehawks, though. I think that Cleveland, a team that is also soon to get a roof, the stupidest decision.
Is that also on the criteria roof?
Oh, yeah, because it'll be easier for Cam Ward with the roof for him to go and just air raid, sling it all over the field. I think Stefanski's a very good coach. I think he's a better coach than what the Titans have. I think he's a better coach than what the Giants have. And those are the other two teams in their actual chase for Cam Ward. So pairing him with a coach that I've seen actually be competent at times. The coach Stefanski let it all crumble right in front of his eyes. And obviously doing parts of management and leadership, but I think with Cam Ward, he could be solid. I don't think Cam Ward in Tennessee gives me anything in excitement. I don't think Cam Ward in New York, I don't think he'd be embraced particularly well after the first two interceptions that he threw. Or the first time he took his fumble.
Anyone would be excited and happy if he throws a couple of crazy touchdowns. The Giants would geek out over any big play that he has, because we have watched not only Daniel Jones play like shit, but Eli Manning the end of his career where he threw 1 million interceptions and he slowly fell apart. So I think anybody would be more than excited here in this wonderful area of North Jersey to watch Cam Ward. But that's not my best fit. Tennessee Titans are my best fit. I love Cam Ward enough to say, I want him to be a Giant, but I love him enough to say I don't wish upon him the downfall that would happen if he was a Giant.
Yeah.
I do not wish upon him the torture that he would go through by the mismanagement of the current regime, them getting fired, and then him midway through his first contract, having a new GM and a new head coach who are all confused and puzzled and fighting over how they're going to handle this, and he's not his guy, and it would create some sort of strife and issue. And also, more importantly, their inability to build a good offensive line since their last Super Bowl run. So I don't wish that upon him. I think it's the Tennessee Titans. I think that the Titans, albeit they had a bit of a reset with Vrabel and they bring in Brian Callahan, they have been a better run organization than people want to give them credit for since they moved out of Houston. They have produced and had quality quarterback play. They've gone on runs. They've had to turn to other options like Ryan Tannehill after Marcus Mariota didn't work. Bill Polian compared him to Steve McNair, which I kind of see that. I kind of like that comparison where a big arm guy, very mobile, underrated in terms of what he can do with his legs. I think it's a good comparison. He would be their next Steve McNair. They need better receivers. Their offensive line is young and improving, and their defense has some pieces, but I think the draft capital to build and boost it up over the next couple of seasons. So I think Tennessee is his best spot within those top 3 picks because he's not going to go further than that. Nobody's going to trade up any further.
Tennessee has shown me that they're not fully gearing up for quarterback, though. They dish Nick Westbrook Akine, who was probably their most productive receiver last year. Who's going to be toting the rock for him? Pollard again, Tajay Spears, and then who is the pass option? Treylon Burks, who has done.
Treylon Burks is done, man.
And you're right. Tennessee has been a finely managed organization since moving from Houston, but that's been very running back contingent. It's been contingent on Eddie George, Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, and the next great Titans running back to follow. They don't have that. They don't have any weapons on the outside, and the last couple of years has been a disaster for Tennessee. The A.J. Brown trade, I think, set it all off, where they thought they could just draft another A.J. Brown in Treylon Burks. Guess that. Guess what? You can't do that, and they haven't been able to find that replacement in the passing game, and they didn't want to re-sign Derrick Henry. It wasn't going to work out. So what
behind that offensive line, he was better off going out. That one, I don't really get why people gripe about that, where they're like, oh, it's so messed up that they didn't try to keep him and offer him a ton of money. Derrick Henry wouldn't have wanted to be there.
It was a win-win situation.
He needed to go to a team like Baltimore that had Lamar, that had a good offensive line to finish out his career.
But that was an asset that they have not replaced with, I'd say, close value of what Derrick Henry's production was compared to what they have in place now. I think the Titans are gearing up for Abdul Carter. I think it's let's have him and Simmons on the defensive line together, wreak havoc, pull a Philly. That's where I think they have to lean.
I don't think that's what they're doing.
Where's the infrastructure for him?
But they have this. I think that where their decision making now comes, and you see a lot of reporting more and more this week from like Jeremy Fowler talked about it, Jordan Ronan at ESPN talked about it, that the Titans are leaning in the direction of taking Cam Ward. You very rarely have the opportunity to pick first overall and to have your choice of prospect and just to get to choose whoever you want. I doubt the Giants are willing to send a crap load of picks to move up 2 spots. And I think that they probably tried to get them to, and the Giants might have come out of it. They can see with Cam Ward, I think if they're smart enough to realize that he has immense potential. He has unbelievable potential to go on to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't disagree that they don't necessarily have currently the infrastructure, but they don't have to start him right away. They can keep Will Levis out there and trot him out there to go stink it up.
They can't keep Will Levis. I'm sorry to
let
cut
him.
They can't keep him. Anybody else?
Let him grind himself into the ground.
No.
Let him do it. Let him do it.
Push him off the pasture and find someone else.
No.
Find somebody else. He's done. Joseph, I can't do it. I want to do another year of Levis ball, but I don't know if I can watch it.
He's a meat shield. That's what you use him for. Go let him get demolished and destroyed. And your offensive line, they have the bones of a good offensive line because they've spent early picks on offensive linemen. I think that there is a world that Tennessee ends up being next offseason could be like some of these other teams that were really like Drake May and the Patriots, where this offseason they just said, screw it, we're going to spend a ton of money because we want this thing to work right now.
Yeah.
The following offseason, they can do that. They go out there, they spend a bunch of money, they sign a free agent receiver, they draft another receiver, whatever they need to do to shore up the roster. I think it's better to have the quarterback after you've been building for a couple of years and then put on the finishing touches.
Could we flex Will Levis into a tight end quarterback position where at times we're getting his meat shieldedness as maybe even a pocket protector? I wouldn't mind to see him next to Cam Ward blocking for him.
I'm putting him as the up man on punt. That's what his role is going to be.
That's almost too much responsibility.
Up man on punt. What do you think? It's too much. I think it's perfect for him.
He needs to be in a spot where he will never touch the ball.
Yeah, he won't touch the ball.
There's a possibility.
We'll have him run down on kickoff.
There we go. Okay.
Let's have him run down on kickoff.
I take him on the headhunter team. That works for me. Okay. So now we have a plan for Levis. I like that.
We figured it out.
Yeah.